Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another exciting discussion on all things well-being. My name is Dr. Kimberly Quinn, and I am thrilled to have a chat today on the Fast Mind Club Fights Back. So remember, this whole Minecraft podcast is about becoming the boss of your brain, because thoughts come first and feelings come second, and then action and behavior is third. So whether you're a neurotypical, you're in the Fast Mind Club, or you have something else to deal with, hopefully there's something you can find in Minecraft that works for you, because no matter how we're wired, happiness is a choice. We know that for sure. And learning how to control our own thoughts is like the straight ticket to happiness, with a big emphasis on mindfulness and gratitude. Okay, so today, especially as it is ADHD Awareness Month, woohoo! I got to get an orange band for myself, but right now I got orange leaves. See them up there? And I'm a Halloween fanatic. It's my favorite. I should take you around the whole house, but this is that's just like an appetizer, because all the big stuff is in the living room. But anyway, this is spells, and I don't actually do spells, but just a little decor there. Okay, so the Fast Mind Club Fights Back. This is going to be about and it probably won't be a long one today, because of course I just realized it's ADHD Awareness Month. No big surprise there. So I've got to definitely represent here. So there's some really dumb myths out there, and we did something like that a while ago, but it's hard to believe that in 2021 that people can even believe it's not a thing. But so that's the first thing, is that some people don't believe that ADHD is a thing, medically, physiologically, fill in the blank with that, but the executive functioning stuff. And I mean, come on, and who is anyone to say that somebody else's wiring isn't a thing? Be in the mind of somebody who's bipolar, be in the mind of somebody who's anxious, be in the mind of somebody who's depressed, be in the mind of somebody who's autistic, be in the mind of somebody who's reside, forget squirrel nests, because I'm going to say bees, because they're way louder, buzz. Not that I've actually been in a squirrel nest, but I don't think they have the same noise level, or the bzzz thing. And that's kind of what it's like for me all day, every day, and you can't shut it off. You wake up, it's there. You go to sleep, it's there. And so, for those anybody's who don't think it's real, I just want to kind of do that, you know what I mean? Be in any of our minds for a day and just see how that goes. We're just going to dismiss those people. And then another one, especially for my age range at a fabulous 56, those people who still think it's just for boys, especially at my age. They're starting to come around, for girls in this. And in my lifetime, I've seen this. Girls are rapidly catching up with the diagnosis, which is good news, bittersweet, because yay, we're being acknowledged, and it's also, it's a little bit harder existence, even though we have gifts to bring to the table, absolutely, gifts to bring to the world. I'm glad that girls are finally being, acknowledged with this difference in wiring, because then, girls can also, get the support that they need, for sure, and hopefully, people have a little bit more empathy, and also get, accommodations in school and things like that. And another myth, because we know, and actually, forgot. So as far as right now, we think it's actually, used to be said, oh, it's, whatever percentage, ridiculous majority, all boys. No, as far as we're estimating, because there's so many out there not diagnosed, it's really approaching even. And it's just because it can look different in girls than in boys. So myth number 2, stupid. Okay. And then we have, I remember, way back when I was therapizing in northern Jersey, and specializing with kids and teenagers on the spectrum of attentional difference. And I would literally climb up to trees to do therapy with them, and I was under the coffee table with this one little guy, lots of walks, lots of movement, lots of dexterity, artsy stuff, because it just works so well for the little baby fast minders to talk when they're in movement, just like I am at 56. I told you about the relaxation shame. Oh, just sit down and let's watch a movie. Let's binge Netflix. Let me see. I'd rather stick pins in my forehead and maybe all 10 toes simultaneously. Thank you for asking. And then you're accused of You can't just relax. Why can't you just relax? I can relax. So look, couch potato, how do you feel about going on a run with me? And then you can relax my way. Okay? Or maybe take a good ski down the Glades at J Peak. I'm relaxed. Are you? Okay? As far as relaxation, shame. And then the video game thing. That's where I was going with that. Okay, circle around. I had more than a few parents since I specialized like this. Of course, at an agency, you get lots of people. Even if you specialize in something, you get, different things. But I had mostly the ADHD crew at one point, and I'd have one parent after the other, referred by the school, referred by the other parent, referred by, Aunt Tilly, whatever. And but he or she, well, mostly back then it was almost all he's. He can't possibly not have. He can't have ADHD. Not my son. He can sit and play ADHD, geez, play video games for hours. My son can't have ADHD, he plays video games for hours. And I would just kind of look at them. You can't see my eyebrows because like that. Really? Okay, well that's what he's going to gravitate to. He can play 9 straight hours of 9 straight hours of video games and be in full throttle ADHD because we operate on an interest-based nervous system. So if he's constantly being stimulated, which is what our minds are looking for, of course he can sit there and play endless amounts of video games. So there goes, that's myth, I forget, that's it, myth number 3, done. Bad parenting. Okay, so you kind of know my story. But even with, we'll just say, ineffective parenting, there's no such thing as a perfect parent. There just isn't. And however, it's ADHD has often been, there's a myth that says it's due to bad parenting. Lack of limits, lack of discipline, like whatever. So we're going to say ineffective parenting. No. Now that said, even though that's a myth, which means that is not true, myth debunked, ineffective parenting, lack of follow-through and structure will affect any kid because kids want follow-through and structure regardless of how they're wired. So being their buddy and being permissive is no good for them at all and actually causes anxiety, and anxiety makes most things worse. So if there's an ineffective, permissive parent who's not sticking to what they say, first of all, stating what they want and following through with it and being consistent, and also listening and all that other stuff, it's going to exacerbate the symptoms of ADHD for sure, but cause it? No. Okay, so that was myth number 4 debunked. What else do I have? Created by, can't read my own writing. Nutrition, no. Okay, and actually with my Minecrafters, I say, here you go, here's some sugar, bring candy, whatever they have, a paper share, sometimes because the planets are aligned well, or who knows, because well-meaning parents will often say that, and I'm not saying to go, binge on a bag of Snicker bars. However, the prefrontal cortex focuses better. I'm having a fast mind day myself. I'm like missing my words because my brain's faster than my mouth. That's why I also stuttered as a kid. They tested me a bunch and realized they couldn't find anything. And back then, of course, as a girl, 8 or 7, they're not going to know. My mind was like flying and I couldn't get the words out. Anyway, as far as that goes, lost my train of thought. Nutrition, no. Sugar is good for the prefrontal cortex. It doesn't mean go binge on Snicker bars, like I said. But if the child's about to do something that takes focus, like a test or some kind of something at school, or they're a teenager or young adult in college, I say, here you go. And they're little snack size ones. Have a whatever bar, Snicker bar. And also the body, as you know, doesn't really differentiate between sucrose, fructose, galactose, glucose, all the oses. It's all sugar, from a breakdown standpoint. So Snicker bar or apple, that's your choice, but sugar does benefit focus, and it's very quick. The kids outgrow it. No, they don't grow out. Do I look like I've outgrown? Especially today, I'm tripping over my words like hand over fist because I'm having a fast day, and I'm still going to use this video. Why? Because this is real and human, and it shows that sometimes I have faster days than others, and nothing's different. I haven't done anything different. I had, I think, 2 cups of tea all day, and it's almost approaching dinner soon. That's it. There's nothing. It's just an ADHD day. And I'm going to leave it right there because it's just human and honest. It's real. I'm all about the real. So we don't outgrow it. That's a myth. Although we can learn to manage it better. It doesn't mean that the urge to interrupt people isn't still there. The urge to get up isn't still there. The urge to jump out of the middle of the long line to go jump to another line at the store isn't there. And then, somebody politely talks us out of it, but the urges are all there. And remember what we said about the H for the hyperactivity. Those who have the H, like myself, I wear mine, as you can tell, all over myself. And sometimes I feel like I want to run laps around Vermont. It's just how it is. I also realize that typically by adulthood, which isn't me, I'm like that little outlier, the H isn't seen as much on the outside, but it's still very much present on the inside. So there's that inner jitteriness and it doesn't have to be anxiety actually. And though anxiety is the number one comorbid or dual diagnosed something with anxiety, that hyperness can also just be the hyperness that's no longer seen on the outside. It's often misdiagnosed. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so there. And also if the H is entirely missing, it can still be on the inside, because people can't see it to diagnose it. The myth that we are stupid and lazy, I think we get the lazy thing more when we're adults because their expectations are higher. Not the kids don't get it. So hear me, little fast minders, if you're watching or if your parents are telling you that don't let anybody call you lazy, ever, okay? And with adults, because adulting has such a thing with it, you're all these supposed to's. You're supposed to, the checking account thing, making it to appointments, fill it all in, take the dog to the vet, blah, 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 blah. All these things with adulting, and if you don't do it or you miss it, you're forgetful, you're irresponsible, you're lazy, and with reading, if a grown-up goes back to school, or if it's a teenager or a little younger one, fast minder we're talking about, with the reading thing, remember I told you about that. I heard that growing up. How are you ever going to go to college? You don't even read. Well, maybe it's because I can't get more than halfway down the page without my mind going out the door and around the block. And maybe over to go check out Ireland, see what they know, and I'll eventually come back. So it's not lazy, it's that our wiring is different, and therefore our external actions can look different. Okay, so that one debunked. Special accommodations. This is one I was reading an article on from ADHD. All those others did not come from. I mean, those are mine. Like I've just like resided in those for a really long time. Not resided, but like aware of those for a really long time. I didn't have accommodations because, especially being female, and I was in college in the mid to late 80s when ADHD was just becoming talked about. And barely got diagnosed, and to my knowledge there weren't any. I really don't think there were, because I know really super good people at St. Mike's who wrapped around me like a burrito. So I'm guessing if there were accommodations I probably would have had some. I don't think they existed, especially not for a female. So for anybody to be jealous and think it's unfair is just absolutely ludicrous. I mean, and even if you switch it from the Fast Mind Club to something else, somebody with fill in the blank that they could have accommodations for, like, how could anyone be jealous or say it's unfair when somebody is clearly struggling with something? And it's about leveling the playing field is all it's about. So that just makes me want to do another, I got an itch right about there kind of thing. And this is another one. These last two I took from ADD to the special accommodations unfairness thing, and that drug companies created ADHD to like make a ton of money or something. No. And if you speak with most people who in the Fast Mind Club are on Adderall, the stimulants we know work the best. There's sometimes reasons people can't do the stimulants, and those still work okay. But I'm last I knew, because I read a lot, they're pretty much second runner-ups if you have the choice, because sometimes if you have certain issues you can't. But anybody who's taken a stimulant like Adderall, what used to be Ritalin's still out there, but Adderall's a little bit more mainstream, I think, at this point. If you actually have it, you actually have, the real deal. You are a card-carrying Fast Mind Club member, genetically speaking, with the physiological wiring. It's a night and day difference when you take an Adderall, you're like, oh my God, what? I was like, is this what neurotypicals can do? They can just like hone in and read and hone in and clean a closet and hone in and without checking the laundry, doing this, answering the phone, email, and so no, I can't. No, the drug companies. I'm not going to take that full accusation away for other reasons. There's a lot of controversy out there with the whole country being over Medicaid, whatever. I'm not going to touch that one. But as far as creating a diagnosis so the drug companies can make money, that is just absolutely nuts. Okay, so I think pretty much the myths are debunked as far as I know. We know that ADHD is about a difference in wiring that has the executive functioning system looking way different, right? Looking way different. And so the executive functioning system remembers the big stuff, cognitively speaking. It's reasoning, decision making, judgment, planning, not just planning like to be a doctor in your life, but planning, taco night. Also working memory, just remembering stuff. Organization, and also making a connection from past consequences or errors or successes into the now, connecting those to now, and also making the connection of those to the future. So we have trouble with that, which also leads to the time inconsistency thing, and also obviously impulse control. My favorite. So that's some of us really struggle with all things related to impulse control, and the story with that. Okay, so happy ADHD Awareness Month. I would say on this day, hug your ADHD, or if you are the one who's in the Fast Mind Club, ask for all the hugs you want. If you don't like to be touched, ask for them to drop rose petals at your feet outside maybe the hot bubble bath, and to bring you a big huge glass of wine and a dinner of your choice once you're out, if that works. But happy ADHD Awareness Month. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from Northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.